Hey, good morning, grace and peace. Welcome to Find the Intersection. My name is Paul Tazay, and today is Wednesday, so that means we are in the Old Testament today. I hope you're having a good week so far. Yesterday I spent the day with several of our staff members at Shiloh Park for a seminar. So sorry the video was a little wacky. My daughter said, "Were you driving the car when you filmed that?" I was like, "Oh, that would be really weird." But no, I was just sitting in the parking lot. But anyway, so today we're going to get into Genesis chapter 15, verses 1 to 12, and verses 17 to 18. And if you're new to Find the Intersection, the way this works is we read 4 passages through the week, and then on Friday we find the theme or the intersection that runs through all 4 of the passages. So we read a gospel passage on Monday, a New Testament letter on Tuesday, an Old Testament passage on Wednesday, and Thursday we read a psalm, and then Friday we prayerfully discover the theme, the intersection, the thread that runs through all 4 of the passages. And so today's is Old Testament Day. And so we're reading from Genesis chapter 15, which is one of my favorite chapters in the entire Bible, because I believe it points to Jesus. And we might get into that a little bit here in a second. But the context of this passage is that God promises Abraham or Abram a son. And he's up in years, and so he is in this situation where the promised child, hasn't come yet, and so he's living in a world that is completely based around inheritance, right? So the pride of a father is the son, right? And when the son's not there, there's a lot of questioning and doubt in that society. So God has promised Abram this, and he is awaiting this, and so that's the context. A few things that jumped out to me is, number one of the first things that God says in this is, "Don't be afraid." And I think this is a powerful phrase that we see all the way through scriptures, because fear is real. People live in fear. I live in fear. Abram lived in fear, fear for his life from the outside forces, as he is someone who's traveling into a distant land, and so he is relying on God for his protection. And so God says to him, "Do not be afraid." And God says that to us too, because we live in a world where there's a lot of evil forces that have emerged in our lives and even inside of us. And God speaks to us and says, "Do not be afraid, I got you." Second thing that jumped out to me is Abram is okay questioning and doubting in the midst of this conversation relationship with God. In fact, God seems to encourage the questioning and the challenging and the doubting. Abram's like, "Hey, where's my son? And am inheritance going to go to a servant?" And then God kind of encourages and continues in this promise. I'm going to fulfill the promise. You just got to be patient here. Go out and look at the stars and see, your descendants are like that. And I think it's important for us as people who, hey, we have struggles. And we've been taught in the church world that we should never doubt or never share our struggles, excuse me, or our questions with God. But even in this very beginning of the Bible, chapter 15, we see a major character in the Bible, in fact, a forefather of all of the faith, has the initiative to question and doubt. And I think that's encouraging for us. The third thing is this idea of covenant, this promise, this sacred promise that God and Abraham partake in. But the interesting thing about the cutting of the animals in half and the fire pot and the torch, the flaming torch, and the smoking fire pot are 2 aspects of covenant. And God does both halves. So in the ancient world, you'd split animals in half, and you say, if I fail to fulfill my end of the deal, so where we get the idea of cutting the deal from, cut these animals in half. If I fail to do my part of the deal, then may I be like these animals. May I become like these animals. So this is a sacred promise. And what God does is he, using 2 metaphors of a fire pot and a flaming torch, he does both halves of the covenant. In that ancient time, the 2 people that we've been making in covenant would walk down the aisle of the cut animals, and that would be like cutting a deal. These two people are going to partake in this sacred promise, or they would become like these animals. They would be, killed. And so God, using the metaphor of fire pot and flaming torch, does both parts of the deal, both parts of the sacred promise. And I believe that points to Jesus, because Jesus was cut in half, or his flesh was torn for us. And God does both halves of the deal. He recognizes that we are going to struggle, and so God, in his grace and faithfulness, does both halves of the covenant, which is really amazing. I'm going to talk more about that on Sunday, because that's what my sermon is going to intertwine with this text here, because I just think it's so powerful. Anyway, those are the three things that jumped out to me. The idea of don't be afraid, the idea of questioning and doubting, and then the covenant, which was really a one-sided deal. God did both halves of the covenant. So the application for me is identifying my fear today, and instead of having fear or living in that fear, I'm going to have courage. And so that's my application for today for myself. So tomorrow we'll be back with Psalm 27. And share your comments share your thoughts in the comments here, so I can learn from you what stood out in this passage, Genesis chapter 15, verses 1 to 12. And I hope you have a great day today, and I'll be back tomorrow with the Psalm. Take care, everybody. Grace and peace.